Hello everyone and welcome to 5 Levels. I hope you're having happy holidays, and today I have a new video that a lot of people have been searching for and asking for. Today I'm going to showcase the best settings for your 4K media players from Zidoo, and these settings that I'm going to recommend can be applied on many different devices from the new series or the old series. The device I'm using right now is the Zidoo Z1000 Pro, but you can apply this on all the other or almost all the other devices from Zidoo. Either it's the Z2000 Pro or the Z9X or the Z9X Pro, and all the rest of the list. And we'll do all of that right after the intro. Alright guys, now I'm going to go to the settings menu, and the first tab that you'll see is the playback, and if you go down you'll see the auto frame rate. If you go and click the right arrow to the first option, which is the frame rate mode, you can see that the choice that I have chosen here for in this option is the match frame rate only. Let me quickly explain what's happening in this option. If I choose the match frame rate only, it's going to match the original frame rate that came natively from the Blu-ray disc. And at the same time, it's going to upscale to 4K because I am not choosing the matching for the frame rate and the resolution. So if you want to match the original native frame rate as well as the resolution from the movie disc that you have ripped, you can choose the second option. If you turn this off, I believe it's going to match the choices that you will pick if you go to the resolution and in the display and the resolution. And if you choose, for example, a 4K 60 Hz or 4K 24 Hz or 23, it's going to match the exact choices whether from the resolution and the frame rate. So I'm the kind of people who prefers the original native frame rate of the movies, but I like to upscale my 1080p Blu-ray movies that I rip to 4K because it's a nice experience, and definitely the Zidoo devices has an amazing 4K upscaler, and it's my favorite device to stream from my local server where I have a lot of movie rips, either they're 720 DVDs or 1080p Blu-rays or UHD 4K movie discs. And now let's move on to the next setting, which is the bookmark. I just left this to the default. The third one is something that is a personal preference, where we'll choose the language that you'd like to see on the interfaces and the subtitles. So you can choose a default language because sometimes there are movies that does not have a regular language. Like for example, Avatar has a foreign language where sometimes you're gonna need a subtitle to watch the movie, and some movie versions does not come with forced subtitles. So it's a really nice thing to have the ability to download subtitles directly from the Zidoo player. The next is the 3D option, which I left default, and this one is also default. And next is going to be also default. The forced subtitle is on auto. And as far as the region, I prefer to put my player on the region A because it's a region-free player. So wherever you buy your movie from any region, you can just rip the movie and choose the region where you got the movie from. Simple as that. And next, this is something I left as default. And yes, I enabled the subtitles downloading. And next, finally, I left this as default, which is already disabled by default. And let's move on to the display settings now. And the first option in the display tab is the resolution, and you can choose automatic resolution detection where it will automatically upscale your 1080p or 720p content to 4K resolution. But you can choose other like the resolutions that you'd like to have based on your TV. So for example, you can go to 1080p and different frame rate options from this list. If you'd like to lock the resolution and the frame rate, you can just choose a resolution and then choose to lock the resolution, and it will keep the resolution always on the option that you have chosen. And next we have the color settings, and I did make some changes here. And the first option, I have chosen the priority for 12-bit, and in the second option I also chose 12-bit, and in the non-4K option for the colors I have chosen the 10-bit because 1080p or anything lower than 4K does not support 12-bit, so I have chosen 10-bit for this option. And next we have the HDMI color range, and I have kept that as default, and it was on auto by default. And next, this was already turned off by default, and you want to make sure that you choose the enhanced format here for the HDMI signal format. And let's move on to the third option, which is this one, and I have kept everything as on the default settings that came outside the box. This includes this option. I also did not make any changes here. And here on the HDR settings, there are a lot of options, but I mainly use this if I want to map things to either HDR or Dolby Vision. For example, if you're watching a 1080p movie Blu-ray and you'd like to convert it using the Dolby Vision VS10 engine, you can choose the where's the option? Yeah, it's this one. If you choose for SDR content, it will automatically convert any movie playback that is lower than 1080p to HDR Dolby Vision. And if you don't want Dolby Vision, you can choose HDR10, which is mapping HDR10 in this option. There's a lot of things that you can do. You can also always map and convert everything and all content, including the menus, to Dolby Vision. You can do this only for SDR content. You can also convert HDR10 content like HDR10 or HDR10 Plus also to Dolby Vision. And this is the best player where I have experienced Dolby Vision. It has an amazing Dolby Vision engine compared to Apple TV 4K and NVIDIA Shield. This is my favorite device when it comes to Dolby Vision playback. And next, yes, I have enabled LLDV. This depends on your TV, so just check if your TV supports this. Choose it. If it doesn't, just choose the standard Dolby Vision. And next, I have kept this as default, and this was also default, and this is automatically done by the device. And the screen ratio is also default. And the picture parameters also is on default. I did not make any changes. For the HDCP, this is a personal preference based on your equipment. If you want, you can enable the HDCP 2.2, but I did turn this off just to prevent any risks from getting black screens or anything. So I prefer leaving this on off. And this is also some personal preference because it's a screensaver. And the wallpaper, as you can see, I have chosen the third one, which I like, but this is also a personal preference. And finally, we have the audio tab. And in here, you want to make sure that all your HDMI audio is on RAW so that you get the original soundtrack playback. And next, for the SPDIF, you want to keep that on LPCM2 channel. This is also a personal preference based on your case scenario. For the down mixing, this is something I'd like to talk about. If you'd like to use a USB device and connect it to your Zidoo device, you want to make sure that you enable this if you do not get any sound in the output. And next, you just leave this on default, and you want to enable USB audio because there are people who have USB headsets or USB interfaces, audio interfaces that they can use. So just for the sake, of not having to go back again to the settings and enable this, just enable it for future purposes. When you just plug in a device, it will automatically work. And this is something I kept on default, and this is also on default. And we are done with the best settings for your Zidoo devices. I'm not going to go over the network because it is something related to Wi-Fi or using an Ethernet cable, and I'm sure most of you can just choose the SSID and entering your password of your Wi-Fi, so there's no need to go through that. The focus of this video is for the movie playback, for the best settings that you can have, and I have successfully explained all that I can recommend, and I hope that you have gained any benefit out of these recommendations. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment. And happy holidays, and until next time, stay safe.